Okay. Well, hi everyone. I just wanted to pop in really close and say super big thanks to everyone who's been giving me badges and applause. And in case you don't know, everyone here on Instagram, I'm also live on YouTube. Everyone on YouTube, I'm also live on Instagram. So let's combine the communities. So if you follow me on Instagram, head on over to YouTube and follow me there. If you follow me here on YouTube, head on over to Instagram and follow me there. And that way I can see you in both places and we can multiply that feeling of goodness. Okay, I'm gonna move back now. I'm gonna intro the video because these videos also live on my online channel called Om Stars. And of course, I'd love to see you there too. Okay, let's get started. All right. Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks so much for tuning in to this Ashtanga Yoga Challenge. Guess what? We've got 2 days left. Today, we're doing Sirsasana or Headstand. And this has been a lot, you know? I just want to acknowledge that. Like, the Ashtanga Yoga method is very challenging. So I feel like we've been through a big journey together. I feel like we've been through a lot. I feel like this has really been a yoga challenge in some ways. You know, I've been here live sharing the practice with you, reading your comments and going through this whole journey of rediscovering, discovering, or getting deeper into the Ashtanga Yoga method. There have been ups, there have been downs, there have been highlights, and there have been difficulties. Just like any journey then that you go through, there are things that are easy and things that are difficult. Well, I just want to say big thank you because you made it. You've got one more day, and I know now since the finish line is so clearly in sight that you are not going to quit. You're going to stay with it until the very end of this challenge. So big thank you from my heart to yours for making it through this far. I've been on the journey with you, and I know how hard you've been working, so I just want to take a moment and acknowledge that and really give you a big shout out for staying with me through this process. Not everyone does. So you have made it through up until day 29, and we're working on Sirsasana, headstand. And if you're new to the challenge, you're jumping in because you think headstand is cool, or you want to learn how to do headstand, that's totally cool too. I hope you get inspired to head on all the way back over to day 1 and start the challenge all over again. So before we get into headstand, first, this is a very difficult posture that requires a certain amount of strength in the shoulders. I hope you have it easier than I did. I was never a dancer. I was never a gymnast. I was never anything physical before I started the practice of yoga. I started yoga. I walked into a yoga class when I was 19 years old. And when I was 22 years old, I found and committed to the Ashtanga Yoga method. And I've really only ever done yoga. It's the only physical discipline that I do. I also enjoy walks at the beach. You know, because I like the beach and I like to be outside and I live in Miami, but you know, I mean, I guess I'm exercising when I'm doing that, but my main physical discipline is yoga. I don't do any weight training. I don't do anything else really, you know, so it's really just yoga. So I share that with you because no matter where you start, so many people ask me, am I too old to start yoga? Will I ever do headstand? How long is it going to take me? First of all, nobody's too old to start yoga practice. You can start at any age. You don't have to be a particular size or shape to start the yoga practice. You don't have to be a particular ethnicity, religion, or gender. The yoga practice is really for everyone. What you need is a sincere desire to do the yoga practice. That's all. And if you have that desire, well then, my friends, you can do the yoga practice. It's important that we really learn to honor where yoga comes from. So for me, I immediately found the lineage of Ashtanga Yoga to be so important. And I honor my teachers in India each time I practice and share this practice. And I hope you will too, when you stand in this path and continue to do the practice every day. So when you're working on strength, a posture like headstand requires a lot of strength. My teachers taught me headstand and always said that headstand means strong shoulders. So you're not actually standing on your head, which is really good news because standing on the head alone would be very difficult. So because you're going to be placing the top of the head on the ground, and in a headstand you want to place the very top of the head on the ground. Because of that, you need the shoulders to be very, very strong. If the shoulders are not stable, then the weight gets pushed down too much on the head, and then you can put too much pressure on the cervical spine, too much pressure on the spine in general. If you're in headstand and you feel any pinching sensations in your cervical spine, you want to come on out of your headstand because that's an indication that you're not in a safe position. So please listen to your body. Now, when my teacher said that headstand means strong shoulders, it means the shoulders provide the foundation of headstand. If you don't have strong shoulders, you might be like me. It might take you a long time to do a headstand. It took me 1 year, 1 full year of falling over every single day before I balanced in headstand. So I tapped over and I fell over. And that's not a method I recommend for everyone. I was just kind of, I guess, young and fearless. and I still don't really have too much of fear of falling, at least if I'm close to the ground. Like, definitely I have a fear of falling if I'm on, like the 60th floor of an apartment building. But I think everyone does, at least everyone who's maybe very, not a Spider-Man type of person does. So for me, I don't really fear falling out of headstand, and I didn't. So if you do have that fear, I want you to acknowledge it and recognize it. And I'm going to show you how to use the wall. One of the biggest things that can help you get over the fear of falling if you're working on headstand, 2 things. First, fall. And then after you fall, learn how to do it safely, or maybe before you fall, learn how to do it safely. And then in the process of falling, you'll realize that that thing you were afraid of is not so bad. Number 2, and this is really important, the second thing, if you have fear, have somebody spot you that you trust, so that you have a friend. And this is something that we would do instinctively if you were afraid and you were with a friend, say like in a scary movie, you'd grab that friend's hand, like, oh my God. So we instinctively gravitate towards togetherness when we feel fear. And so this is something very, very useful to have somebody spot you, to get a little bit of help from a teacher when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with fear, particularly with headstand, okay? Because you don't want yourself to be, do something unsafe and then get yet even more fear of the posture. So with a little bit of assistance from friends and teachers and fellow yoga practitioners along the way, headstand can be accessible for you. Last thing I want to say about headstand, and then I promise we're going to do some headstanding, is that headstand is deeply beneficial. It's the posture we hold for the longest time in an inverted position. When we hold this posture in an inverted position, it becomes meditative. So ideally, the breath in headstand is long, deep, and very, very calm and resonant. If you're breathing in a very quick, fast, short, rapid breathing in headstand, after you find the balance, try to slow down the breath and really regulate it as much as possible, okay? When you're holding this inversion for a long period of time, the spiritual energy of the practice is accumulating. And when we think about this, is it's really kind of programming the brain to acclimate itself to a more spiritual mindset. The patterns of craving and clinging get attenuated or weakened and lessened, and then the patterns of peace and kindness towards ourselves and towards others are accentuated, and we have a more kind of open state of mind. The pineal gland also gets stimulated in long holds in headstand. The pineal gland is a seat of kind of spiritual awakening associated with the 6th chakra. When we think about headstand, first and foremost, maintain a balanced mind. Then second, work the strength. And then third, extend your holds in headstand. Minimum hold in headstand is as long as you can hold it. So 1 breath, went up for a breath. That was the minimum. Now, once you're stable in your balance, you want to try to stay for something like 15 breaths and maybe even 20 breaths. And then think about really lengthening the time that you spend maintaining this Sirsasana. Now, the Sirsasana position we'll do is actually called Baddha Hasta Sirsasana A position, which is a bound hand headstand position. Baddha Hasta, bound hand headstand position. And it's the A variation. There's actually 3 other variations, which we're not going to do today. Those come at the end of the Ashtanga Yoga 2nd series. This is the only headstand in the Ashtanga Yoga method that is recommended to hold for more than 5 breaths. All the other headstands we hold for 5 breaths, no more than 5 breaths. Because this supported headstand is the most supported. So you can use your shoulders the most to provide that foundation, and we're creating a lot of space and safety for the neck. Okay, so let's get started with headstand. Now, to do a good headstand, the first thing I want you to think about is where on the head are you going to place the weight? So if you sit up nice and straight, engage your Mula Bandha and your Uddiyana Bandha, let the natural curvature of the spine be expressed, then place the top of the place the flat part of the hand, the palm, at the top of the head. And this is the place where if you're just going to like pat yourself on the head, this is the place where you would want to bear the weight. Be careful, not at the hairline and not at the back of the head, just a nice good pat. Then when you apply pressure to the top of the head, the neck should be free. Check that out, see if it happens. If not, find the true top of the head. You can also try to balance a book on the top of the head, as this will also really help you. Okay, second, you can let go of the top of the head. Interlock your fingers. When you interlock the fingers, sometimes you'll see headstand done in 2 ways, either with a closed palm like this or with an open palm. In the Ashtanga method, we do the open palm. I'm not saying that this is wrong. There are other styles of yoga that use this one. You would want to follow that logic when you're practicing that style of yoga. In Ashtanga yoga, we open the palms, and we do this so you can cradle the back of the neck and wrap the elbows around. The elbows, very important, stay in line with the shoulders. The elbows wing out. You lost the external rotation of the shoulders, which helps the elbows wrap in. I know that's paradoxical. So when your elbows swing out to the side, you lose the foundation of the shoulders. So elbows in line with your armpits or in line with the shoulder joint, whichever one makes it easier for you to feel. Okay, now when we're getting up into headstand, you want to press through the elbows as much as possible. And if you lose the elbow contact, then you've lost the shoulders, so you want to come on down. Now, there are some key elements that you really need to practice a good headstand. I'm going to put my hair up now, and we're going to go through those. First, you need a forward bend. So let's go ahead and come onto your hands and knees. From your hands and knees, take the hands forward, curl the toes under, and we're going to go to our familiar friend, the downward facing dog. So inhale on up to downward facing dog, and let's stay for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3. So we work the flexibility first, okay? 4. Almost there. 5. Let's walk half the distance in a hanging forward fold. So soft bend in the knees, layer your arms down, and then inhale, hips back and up. Very good. Relax the body, and we stay for 5. 1, 2, release through the hips, release through the back, 3, 4, and 5. That's good. Now let's take the hands down and exhale, come down onto your knees. We're going to now work the elbow position. So you're going to take the elbows down. When you take the elbows down, I want you to hold on to the outsides of the elbows. Then interlock your fingers. And this should make a nice tripod shape. So when the elbows in contact with the hands come together, we're going to make, again, that nice kind of tripod shape. So when we have that tripod shape, now we're going to practice a plank position from here. So if you're comfortable with the palms open, you could also leave the palms open for now. I'm actually going to leave the palms open for now. Then step the legs back and tuck the tailbone. So you may be familiar with this posture as our friend, the dolphin plank. So let's take 5 breaths in dolphin plank. 1. This warm-up will tell you if you have the strength to do headstand or not. And if the warm-up is very challenging, then you might not have the strength yet for headstand. That's okay. The warm-up is going to build you the strength. Let's say it's been 3, 4, and 5. Now I want you to shift forward so that the nose gets close to the thumbs. And now we move the shoulders forward. This is more the headstand position. So let's hold it for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring it back. Sink the knees down. Then let's come up onto the hands and knees. All right. Okay, let's take a regular old plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Then let's see if we can do that again. That same movement again, except now we're going to go for dolphin pose instead of dolphin plank. So sink the elbows down. Dolphin pose is probably your best headstand prepare. Hold on to the elbows. Check your distance, and you can either interlock or leave them open. Now, you may have done dolphin pose with the head down like this. For right now, I want you to do dolphin pose with the head forward just to make sure that you can see where you're going. So then inhale, stand up and walk and walk. And now we stay for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Squeeze your elbows a little bit. 5. Now this is going to be quite hard. Pitch your shoulders down and forward and hold for another 5. 1, 2, 3. The navel is in. Deep breathing. 4. Almost there. 5. Push it back up. Let's walk it back. And inhale, come on up to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing, big breath in. Downward facing, big breath out. Come down onto your knees. Now we're gonna do headstand prep. Elbows down, hold on to the elbows, interlock fingers. I want you now to practice this small movement. Exhale, top of the head down. Inhale, head up. And this time you're gonna look at the knees. So let's just do it on the hands and knees right now. Exhale, go down, stabilize shoulders. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, go down. Inhale, come up. And so the idea with this is that you're putting the head up and down so that you never get the feeling of collapse. If the feeling of collapse comes into the shoulders, headstand is not safe. Okay, so let's be sure that everything stays in place. And here we go. Top of the head down. Inhale, we're gonna stand up. And so this is kind of like that dolphin position. As you can see, flexibility is your friend. So I want you to now gaze at your toes. Inhale, pick up the head. Exhale, put it down lightly. Inhale, lift up the head. Exhale, put it down lightly. Inhale, pick up the head. Exhale, put it down lightly. We do one more. Pick it up, put it down, and now hold it. I want you to hold it right here. Shift your weight onto the tips of the toes. Hold it for 5. Bear the weight in the elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now bend your left knee up into the chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch the legs. Right knee up into the chest. Root those elbows into the ground. Keep the shoulders open. Fire up the deltoids. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's come on down to child's pose. Relax. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more. Good. Let's do it again. And this time, if you feel this is important, when you're coming up into headstand, you move your hips over the foundation of the arms. So we're going to use the bent knee entry to come into headstand. And I'll show you another entry in a moment. So let's prepare. Stabilize the elbows. Exhale down. Send the hips up. All right. Choose your favorite leg. One leg comes up. Feel where your hips are. Activate your bandhas. Then press into the shoulders and press into the elbows. And then inhale, hips up and forward, and you come up into the bent knee headstand. I recommend everybody try to balance here before you extend the legs. Then, if you can balance for about 5 breaths, your neck feels good, you're breathing deeply, then slowly extend the legs, tucking the tailbone a little bit as you find that vertical line. Then, activate the glutes. Keep thinking about lifting up along the central axis of the body, and we stay for 5. 1, 2, 3, shoulders, shoulders, 4, and 5. Let's come down the same way we got in. So bend the knees into the chest, find your headstand tuck, extend one leg, extend the other leg, and exhale, child's pose. Child's pose is very important after headstand to let the blood equalize. You do not want to pop up. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Okay, let's do another entry into headstand. So now again, you can check your distance, interlock your fingers, exhale down, stand the legs up. Now we're gonna lift one leg up. So you lift one leg up. From here, don't overshoot. So a lot of people will come up with an open back, and I want you to use your front body core, and then inhale, lift that right knee up. And this might be a little easier if you have the flexibility. Then find your vertical axis. All right. So you could try that a few times, and if it didn't happen, then remember, you're not jumping with this foot up here. You're moving your pelvis over the foundation of the arms. And you have to trust that the legs are attached to the pelvis. So if you jump with your foot, you'll likely destabilize your pelvis. You might overshoot. So the idea is to move your pelvis over the shoulders and then find your vertical axis. After a few breaths, you want to come down in the same way. And I'm going to show you one more entry from here, and then I'll show you how to use the wall. Again, child's pose, rest. One more breath. Good. Come on back up. Onto the elbows. The next entry we're going to do is with straight legs. Now, the straight leg entry is the hardest because you need the flexibility in the shoulders, you need your forward bend flexibility, and your hips have to move beyond the vertical line, and that's very scary, okay? So you need to really know where your pelvis is. So we inhale, come up. Then press into the elbows, activate the lower abdominal muscles, and then inhale, hips forward until you reach your 90-degree point. And you can see from here that your hips are beyond the vertical line. After the hips go beyond the vertical line to reach the vertical axis, we have to come back to the center. The same thing happens on the way down. So after we stay for a few breaths, let's stay for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Find the halfway point, and then exhale, spiral down. Now again, child's pose. Let's go for rests. Stay 3 breaths. 1, 2, and 3. That's good. All right, we're going to walk the hands forward, take a plank, from the plank pose, and chaturanga. Upward facing, exhale, downward facing. Deep breath in, deep breath out. So if you have a very difficult time doing headstand, here's what I recommend. The prepare. Exhale, head down, work your shoulders, stand it up. 5 breaths here, 5 breaths here, 5 breaths here, and then you give yourself your best jump. Catch it for 1 or 2 breaths, come on down. Then child's pose. All right. Inhale, come on up. Now, let's talk about how to use the wall. Okay, so the wall is exciting because the wall will definitely catch you, but there's a couple of really bad ways to use the wall. So I'm going to slide on over to this wall over here. Now, if you use the wall improperly, you're going to set up away from the wall, and then a lot of people will do this. They'll just go up and they'll put their feet on the wall, and you can see that I'm in this kind of back bend shape. And you're really happy that you're upside down, but unfortunately this is training sort of the opposite muscles that you want. So this is not how you use the wall, okay? This can put a lot of pressure on the head and just feel generally bad. So let's try to use the wall in a healthy manner and avoid feeling generally bad. Now we're going to check the distance. So you can sit up against the wall like this. And you want to be able to bend one knee and have one knee, or maybe even both feet, against the wall so that you can comfortably keep the body in the vertical axis, but the feet on the wall. So your head wants to be about where your knees are, all right? So then you just set up, so where the head is where the knees were, so a little closer than most people like to go. And then you can use the same technique. Oh, there's the wall. Put the both feet on the wall and then find that vertical line. So you try to find the line. You can bring one foot off the wall and you're pushing your body so the body is able to reach that vertical axis. And then you can practice potentially taking that foot off the wall. But you have to be able to bend the knee and be able to be in the vertical line. So this is the healthy way to use the headstand, to use the wall for headstand. All right? Not tapping the feet. See, when you tap the feet, you end up in that back bend shape. So you want to bend the knee and tap the foot, 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 foot. All right? And then headstand, come on down. Rest for a moment. Always, even if you use the wall, rest for a moment. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Good, then let's come on back up. All right, so I want you now to come to a seated position for a few breaths. Take a big breath in, a big breath out, and I want you to reflect on your headstand journey, okay? Deep breath in, and deep breath out. And ask yourself, do I need strength? If you need strength, strong shoulders, firm core will get you there one day. Do I need flexibility? Do you need flexibility? The primary series will really help you. Do I need just to practice? Do I need more faith in myself, a little more confidence? Do I need someone to help me or spot me? If so, maybe I'll make a plan to go to class. And then tuning into the spiritual energy of headstand, may I learn the lesson of what headstand offers to me. And then another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Open the eyes. Very good. So I hope you enjoyed working the headstand. I very much enjoy working the Sirsasana position. Headstand for me was a big obstacle, it was a big hurdle. Like I said, it took me a year of consistent practice. So if it takes you any less than that, hey, you're ahead of the game. Most important when you're working on strength is not to get frustrated with yourself, not to be mad at yourself, but just to forgive yourself and try again. I also usually like to say when it comes to strength activities that no more than 3 tries, a little bit like 3 strikes and you're out, like American baseball. 3 strikes and you're out, give it 3 strikes, 3 tries, your best efforts, then let it go. Practice non-attachment, try again the next day. You're never gonna force yourself up into a headstand. So really just keep working consistently. As long as you have a good technique, I promise you one day you'll get there. Be very patient, be very kind with yourself. Learn that strength is not brute force, but strength is steady determination over many years. You have to learn how to be willing to put in the humble work of showing up on your mat and doing the sometimes unsung sort of heroic acts of just holding the prepare, holding a dolphin pose until your shoulders are strong enough to bear the weight of your whole body and especially to protect your neck. And I'm confident that if you practice with a good technique, you will be able to do a headstand one day. This is something I think is accessible for many people. For most practitioners, if you just put in the effort, if it takes you longer than a year, no problem. It takes you 10 years, 20 years, whole lifetime. Keep practicing with full faith that you're getting stronger emotionally, mentally, physically, and most important, spiritually along the way. I send you a lot of love, everyone. I wish you good headstand practice, and I'm confident that Sirsasana is somewhere on the horizon of your practice as long as you keep practicing every day. So just keep getting back on the mat. And remember, tomorrow is our last day of the challenge. So stay with me on this journey, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Send you a lot of love, everyone. Thank you so much. Namaste. Good. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate it. I want to say a special thanks to Tweeto Deb from YouTube who gave me an applause for $3. Thank you so much. That's really cool. And I see the badges that came in on Instagram. That's awesome. Tweeto says, apparently I've been too close to the wall trying to overcome my fear and apprehension. Thanks for the tip. Cool. That's awesome. I hope you try. Send me a picture after you try. Okay? Cool. See you tomorrow.